Hey, Phil.
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
I think we're live now.
I think we got the kinks worked out of it.
I guess they'll let us know, huh?
Yes, sir. It looks good on this end from what I'm checking. So
I'm going to tell everyone what I told you earlier. There's always those kind of mess-ups, until we get things figured out. But I've been doing this, and this happened last time we were doing this. I would start working on it early in the morning, and it'd be right to the wire before. And I'm not even done with it. We got cables all over the place and everything else. Hopefully it's going to be all right, but it's more for what we're seeing. But yeah, so I worked right up. Phil kept saying we got 4 minutes, got 3 minutes, got 2 minutes, got 1 minute.
But we're here.
Yeah, it's like. So anyway, how's it going, Phil?
It's going.
It's hot out.
Yes, it is.
I've got the fan on. I don't think people can hear it too. Maybe they can. They're going to hear the bird. They're going to hear everything every time I talk. So anyway, that's what happens when you do live without a studio.
Yeah. It's a work in progress, buddy.
Yeah, so hopefully we get that done. So we were just here not too long ago, wasn't it, last night?
Yeah, just last night we gave it a little test run.
Well, good. And did we, I was doing all the tech stuff. Tell me what came about. Did anyone leave any comments, tell us to keep off the air? Or?
No, we had some good feedback. A few people brought up some things that were interesting. And they had ideas what we could do for our show and in the comments and stuff. And one of those comments that somebody put on there was to get a camera on my son, and anytime we go to a haunted location, send him in first by himself, just so we can get his reactions.
Hey, anytime we can put someone else in harm and not myself, I'm willing to do it.
I can imagine how funny that would be, though, because he would probably be scared.
Sure.
So
it's he called in last night.
Yeah,
so
he did.
How did he like that?
He thought it was cool.
Could he hear us all right,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, everything was good. A friend of the show, Bobbi, she sent a message today and was very interested, and she said she'd like to call in today and have a discussion with us. So.
And I know Bobbi. I remember Bobbi.
Yep.
Bobbi was great, so that'll be a nice conversation.
Yes, and she has a lot of experience in this kind of topic.
Awesome.
Say.
So what you're saying is she knows more than we do.
Well, she definitely has more experience for sure.
She knows more than we do.
Yeah. I mean, she is up close and personal with this. I would say probably on a daily basis. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So everyone, I'm looking at the computer screen, so I'm not looking at the camera so much because I'm watching Phil. The problem is Phil can't see me because I didn't get the other screen up in time. So he's looking at the back of the monitor.
Well, at least you have some eye candy. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry I can't help you with that on my side, but you can probably see right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, nice. Thank you. You're number 1 too, buddy.
Just kidding. Yeah. So anyway, and we talked to Mark, or you talked to Mark a little bit last night about, was it Mark, right?
Oh, yeah, Mark Lang.
Yeah.
Yep.
You made me feel like I said the name wrong.
Nope. No, he said he was definitely interested in coming back on air.
Good.
I do have to remember to get a hold of a guy from the Michigan Bigfoot Hunters Association.
Nice.
I know we got a hold of him when this stuff first started happening, and we never caught up with him. So. Right.
I do remember that, and he's still interested.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Phil and I don't know I haven't even had a chance to talk to Phil. I mean, we were like right on the air. I'm like, get out of my way. I'm trying to run a cable. That kind of thing. But are we going to try to do something today, or are we going to just do this and plan on maybe next weekend and kind of get some ideas today, or what are we thinking?
Let's see where time is, and I mean, you could probably go out to that location later today. But,
Yeah, we could probably do that. But, I was thinking as I was doing all this that maybe, I mean, I don't mind doing it today. Don't get me wrong. But, maybe we can, if some people listen to us and they want to give us some suggestions and chat or whatever. I guess I didn't really touch upon this, and I don't think you did, that, we want to go to places that you want us to go to. So, if we can afford to do it and we can drive there and we can do it on a weekend, I mean, we all have jobs, and if we're available, we're willing to do that.
yeah, if we're available, I mean, shoot, even a weeknight here and there, we could probably make happen. But,
Right. So, keep that in mind. We want your input because you guys are going to feed us this stuff. We're going to follow the lead. So
yeah, so I'm sure there's people out there that know a lot more locations and spots than we do. That
right.
even in Hillsdale County. So I mean, that's where we're originating from. So if we can get a little local exposure on there,
So I think when the studio's done, whenever this is, when we get all the cash we need to do it and so on, we'll probably have guests come in because the studio will be big enough. We'll have microphones, we'll have cameras. It's going to be a totally different setup. Once it's where we want it to be, it's going to be very professional in that aspect, the tech aspect. So we can accommodate up to 6 people for an interview. That kind of thing. So, that's like ghost hunting groups, whoever would want to come here.
Experts in the bizarre field.
Exactly. And we'll be able to do the phone thing like we did last night. We'll do some interviews over the phone. We'll probably have Skype set up so they can do video. There's a lot of things coming. Yesterday was a kind of a trial. Now we're thinking, okay, I think we can do this.
It's all a work in progress.
Yeah. So before we went on, what was the convention we went to when we broadcast live? Do you remember?
That was Blood Bash.
So we can do that kind of thing again. At the very, very least, at least a podcast episode where maybe no video. But if we can do video, we'll absolutely do it.
People like to look at me.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's enjoyable and that's fun, and we like to do it, but there's a lot more tech involved,
Yeah.
If we can get all those bugs ironed out, we could go to get a Comic-Con booth. We could do all kinds of fun things. Remember when we did that?
Yeah, I mean, if we got a booth and we could interview some celebrities and,
What was the makeup expert that bought our hat? Tom Savini?
Tom Savini, yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a lot of things we can do, and we're willing to do it. We just need to we have to get our act together, so we're trying to do that.
It's hard to deal with everything, the stipulations, and.
But if you support us, I think within the next year, if you guys keep watching us, within the next year, you're going to be kind of blown away by how things go. I mean, I've got some background in videography and filmmaking. So does Phil. We know things we can do and what our limits are. And what, just we'll give you some good quality stuff. Yep. So anyway, but what are your thoughts, Phil?
I mean, I got a ton of ideas on where we can go and who we can see. And
all right, we got to shut down. He's got ideas. That scares me already.
I've got quite a few contacts in the industry, as far as like paranormal stuff and different weird shit. But that's me. That's what you expect from me. So
we need to see if we can get John to interview.
Oh, I'm sure he would.
That'd be fun. People would love that. He's an icon.
Yeah, I'm sure he would. Maybe we hit up Motor City Nightmares, go up there and do some interviews, and
right.
I've got a paranormal group over by Toledo that would be interested in talking to us. I've got another friend of mine that does ghost hunter stuff, and he's actually got one of those boxes. What do you call those? Spirit boxes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
where you I'm not really sure how it works. You record and you can hear the voices and stuff, and also I might have a lead on a house that is supposedly some paranormal activity happening in locally.
Oh, good.
So
Good.
yeah, yep, should be interesting.
So, do we have anyone in chat?
There's just a few people. Looks like we've got 6 people tuned in right now.
Awesome.
Um,
See, we'll eventually get that number up, but I'm just thankful for the 6 people because, they're on the ground floor. They're getting to see all the mistakes.
what is EMF? I don't know what that means.
Electromagnetic field. So,
Oh, see, I'm not I'm not that techie on the terms and
yeah,
stuff.
EMF, which, I don't know how well it works, but I've got it on my iPhone. I used to have that EMF detector. And we'll get some of this stuff too. We'll get some equipment down the line, things we think we need.
So, Erica, you mentioned EMF. Have you had experience with any of this, or what's your link to it? For loss of a better term,
Right.
the box. I mean, do you have have you done any of this before with the spirits?
I'm trying to figure out how I can see chat here. Seems like there's a way to do that. Oh, it's over here.
So, also, guys, if it might be easier if you're putting comments in the chat, if you wanted to call in, 260-319-5331. Just watched all the shows. Gotcha.
I see Bobby. I see Caden. I see Erica. Hello, all.
260-319-5331. Just give us a shout.
Yeah. We also, as you can see, I put the email address up. So here's something too that you might find interesting. I don't know if you even know this, Phil. We have our own radio station.
Oh,
I
know you were talking about.
Yeah, we have a 24-hour shoutcast station. It's dead right now. When I say dead, it just doesn't have any content on it. We will be streaming these episodes, audio of these episodes on Shoutcast. There will be a web address, which I'll post at a later date. We already have it. Where people can, I'm trying to figure out a way to make it easy for them to stream it on their phones. So if they're at work, they can listen to us and do that kind of thing over. That's what I do. I listen to podcasts. It passes time. So we'll definitely do that, and I'll let people know. And we'll probably stream music on it 24/7 too, but it's probably, until we can get the licensing, it's probably going to be royalty-free music, which there's a lot of good music out there. But if you want mainstream, that's going to cost a little cash, and maybe down the line we can work on that.
Got to have goals.
Yeah, so we're going to have some fun stuff. Definitely. We'll be doing some YouTube stuff, we'll do Facebook stuff. We'll have it translated, and so on.
Maybe get a little TikTok channel, Instagram, all that.
Right.
Got to get one of these young kids to run that.
Yeah, exactly.
So that my kids be good for that, putting that stuff up. So,
yeah. Do you want to say something? You want to speak? No. Yeah. So we got some exciting things. We've got some fun stuff going. Hey, I can even DJ now.
Oh, nice.
We got a lot of music. We can do some DJ stuff. I can just sit here and DJ music all night if you guys get bored.
Nice.
Yeah, that's kind of fun.
So, I guess, Bobby, if you want to call in now, give us a call, and we can talk about some of your experiences. And
you might have to call a couple times if I don't answer it correctly.
push one.
I'm going to try. Seems like it wasn't giving me a chance to do it yesterday, but we'll see if I can do it now.
Bobby said she's sharing our content right now to pull in some viewers.
Oh, great.
So Sure, she's got a lot of links to the different paranormal groups and whatnot. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's great.
So did you say you had a ghost in this house, Mike?
Well, I at least did. If it's still here, it's used to us now, and I don't think it's causing us. It never caused us issues anyway, but it made itself known. Once in a while, I get a few things that happen that maybe are unexplainable, but never seen anything. Well, I shouldn't say that. I've seen the aftermath. I haven't seen anything happen at that moment. I've seen a few things in the corner of my eye, and this is in the past. It's been a while.
The aftermath?
Well, when I first moved in, I had our film we did. The police boots I had for the film, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I took those off. I used them at work, took them off. The next morning, I wish I had them with me. The next morning, I woke up. One boot was setting like it normally would on the floor, and they're tall boots, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the other boot was setting on top of that, where your foot goes in,
Uh-huh.
was setting on top. It had been stacked.
That's crazy.
I mean, I didn't do that, It's just, and in fact, it's hard to do. It's just stuff like that. Music box goes off quite often for no reason. Hasn't been wound up in forever.
Wow.
Just things like that. Oh,
Unknown caller.
let's see if I can get this.
Call from Bobby.
Hello?
To accept, press 1. To send
Hello?
a voicemail,
Oh,
press
hold on.
2.
Just one.
Hold on. Maybe I don't
To
have it
accept,
set up.
press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2. Okay, I've sent the caller's voicemail. Goodbye.
It's not one. Sorry, Bobby. I didn't have it set up on the board. We're ready now if you want to recall. I mean, I could probably call you too, but...
Oops.
See, we got bugs.
There will come a day when none of this is just like...
We need someone to run the boards, what we need. It's kind of difficult to do everything at once.
Oh, I know. It's hard enough for me just to sit here and look good.
Waiting for it to ring again. Maybe it wasn't her. Maybe it was that ghost we were talking about.
Unknown caller.
Call from Bobby.
There we go.
To accept, press 1. To send a voice.
Hi, Bobby. That's what I did. I pressed 1 before and it said, I sent you the voicemail.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Phil, how are you?
I'm great.
We're doing good.
I'm great. What kind of energy are you reading from me?
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah, that's a little scary on the spot right now. And a little bit personal.
Oh, put it out there. I'm an open book. Put it out there. Go for it.
Is that what you are? An open book?
I am.
So, Bobby, Phil was telling me all your skills and such. So you're like, tell us a little bit about you.
Well,
Talking about putting
where
her
do I
on the spot.
begin? Right. Well, I'm not aware if you're aware of an intuitive empath, but that would be the first best description of what I would consider myself to be related or so-called as. Being an empath, you can pretty much pick up a lot of energy on different levels from different aspects.
Right.
As a young child, I wasn't aware of what any of that was. So I was kind of learning on my own because I've been very open and very in tune, I would say, to all types of different energies, whether they're living energies, no more living energies here in this world, if you believe in that sort of thing. But for me, it was just a matter of trying to understand what I was experiencing all throughout my life. And when I was trying to avoid it because it was kind of scary, to be honest,
Right.
especially being young and not understanding what was going on. I blocked it out for a very long time. And then as I got older, more things were happening and I was experiencing them, very prominent things like I would be thinking of something or something would make me feel very uneasy and then something would be happening in correlation with that. And so I was like, wow, what is this? So I started exploring it more and trying to understand it. And now being here in my 40s, all these years later, I've actually learned to embrace what abilities and what people might call as gifts or curses, I don't know. But for me to understand what it is that I'm here to do and help and assist wherever I can. So it ranges from a lot of different aspects besides just that. I mean, people's contacted me, asking me to contact with their loved ones that's passed on. That's happened. I've been a precognitive dreamer where I've dreamt of things, of happenings, and was able to tell about it, and then able to have that manifest, thereafter. And so a lot of times I would keep it to myself, and I wouldn't be very outspoken about it. But now I feel comfortable enough in also the confirmations that I receive that I'm here to be able to help anybody that I can. In any way aspect that my abilities allow me to.
Nice. And I completely understand the empath, trust me.
Yes, I think I know you do.
Anyway.
That's a hard one on itself. That's very difficult to navigate through in this life with that, especially not understanding what is happening with you and if you are in tune with that energy. Very difficult.
Yeah, we're definitely on the same plane, but yeah, so I understand 100% where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I don't talk about it too much, but I understand it.
Right. Right.
But you're a little more so than I am probably, but yeah, but I think we all have that tendency to different extents. I could be wrong, but you just have to open yourself
I truly
up.
believe that too. Yeah, I truly believe that too.
Yeah, good or bad. I kind of call it bad, but yeah. But anyway,
well, it's perception
yeah,
of how you perceive what comes into you.
right.
I used to think that too. Not to interrupt, I'm sorry, but I used to think that thought too. But it's more of asking, what am I to learn from this?
Right.
And then maybe it kind of changes that perspective of like, gosh, this is so bad and it's terrible, and I'm going through all these tragedies and. In reality, if you can step back and look at it from a different perspective and come at it from the angle of what am I to learn from this,
Right.
then maybe it's a little bit easier to navigate through when everything's hitting you from all sides,
I think I just found my psychiatrist, Phil.
Well, I mean,
I get a lot of those calls too. So
I mean,
I don't mean that in a bad way. Trust me, I don't mean that.
I kind of feel like it would, as a child going through some of this stuff, there might be some terrifying experiences.
I guess.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, like you ever seen the movie The Sixth Sense?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I mean, is anything like that? Like, is there anything that sticks out in your childhood, a story that is gonna make people kind of like, oh, wow.
Well, yes. As a child, probably around the age of like 7, 8 years old, I was in a very traumatized portion of my nights going to bed. I would go to bed at night, and there would be a heavy feeling in my room, and I just would not be able to get to sleep. And eventually it got to the point where there, to me, was a dark shadow standing in my room.
Mm-hmm.
So I had thought someone had came into my room, but nobody was in my room. I had a very small room too, so I would be petrified every night to sleep, to the point where I would stand in my hallway in front of my door and cry and beg my parents to let me sleep in my sister's room, just be in another room with another person, a live person. So if anything happened, I had someone there with me,
Right.
because I was being visited every night. And, that's very traumatic, because then, you have people that are not seeing those things, and they're telling you, oh, you just watch too many movies. It's not real. It's made up things that you're just thinking about. So I think in their aspect, they're trying to ease my mind,
Sure.
try to give me some comfort. But in my reality, what was happening to me, that was totally not the case. And later on, I contemplated, like, am I just imagining these things? But when these things were happening, like, I would try to, like, do all these little tests on my own, saying, okay, I'm gonna, do this differently and not think about this aspect. And next thing you know, here it's still happening. So I try different things to try to avoid what I thought my mind might be creating a shadow because of maybe things in my room or things like that, but no. And when the things are approaching you and leaning on your bed, and you can feel your bed sink in, like, those are
Yeah.
very significant things that are happening.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always had that connection and ability, but not knowing what was happening at the time was very, very scary.
Right. Right. That is scary.
I grew up in my grandmother's home. I lived there part-time. She's had 4 people pass away there. There was always things going on in the home. You could hear a baby crying downstairs, and you'd be downstairs and you could hear the baby crying from upstairs.
Wow.
You'd go upstairs, there's nobody there. Many times there would be their dogs that they would have, would be sitting next to you, sleeping. Next thing you know, they're on guard and they're barking at something that's not even there.
Mm.
And you just feel this heavy presence. So I've experienced a lot of things throughout, growing up and being more sensitive to those types of things. And so there's many happenings. There's just all kinds of them. I could probably go on if I think about different ones, but
So,
those are pretty significant.
so you kind of bring up a good point. Being sensitive, where a person who is not sensitive can be in the same room with you and not experience certain things, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So it's like, then it gives you the feeling like, am I crazy? Am I, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but I'm just saying that
Right.
it's kind of,
Yes.
you kind of feel alone when you can't compare notes, so to speak.
That's very good description. I would totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's a lonely thing to deal with until you can find other people who experience these kind of things. Yeah. Or you can come on the phone and talk to other people about it. But
yes. Yes. And that's why I decided to be more public with it, to be able to help people too, because
right.
there are a lot of people out there that do have the ability to be sensitive, that are sensitive, have the ability to connect with different types of energies, and they don't know what to do with it. And so that's why I started, doing the paranormal researches for people that would contact us saying, come tell me if I'm crazy or if there's really something here in my house, So, I made it more public, more known that, hey, I would like to help you. If I can help you, contact me. I'll do my best, for what I'm able to do.
Right.
and make it a little bit more known, because people don't know what to do, and people are, when you don't know something, you become fearful of it. And that's something that we need to do, is not be so fearful.
And I think it's more of the fear, especially for people I know, is having it in your home, like you can just, how do you get rid of it? If especially if you're not sensitive, but you are, because you're experiencing these things, but you have nowhere to turn. Now that's the good thing about these shows and TV now, that it's more mainstream. You can hear the water running through the pipes when I talk. That's what all that noise is. Got to get the studio built. But anyway.
But I think it was interesting how you brought up the dogs would bark.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like animals, particularly cats and dogs might be a little more. They have other different senses. Like if something's there, that they would definitely, notice it.
Right. Right.
Yes. Did you know that they say that cats are actually a good pet to keep in the home because they actually help ward off negative energy
Really?
of the spirit realm. Yes.
I never heard that.
I didn't hear that
Yeah.
either. That's interesting. I love cats, but
They actually, if you research them, used to use them to guard the tombs in Egypt all those years ago to help protect the ones during their passage through their next life.
Well, that'd be like the Sphinx.
right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think it was a veterinarian once on YouTube or something that said the cat's anatomy is so foreign that it's like they're from another planet. They're like there's nothing like them on Earth. Like we may kind of look like apes and talk like apes or whatever, but it's like,
Right.
but cats are completely different than everything else.
Right.
So they're unique.
Animals, various animals are energetic sensitive because of the way that they communicate with each other. So their abilities to have that, people talk about that sixth sense. The animals are, and dogs are very in tune with that as well. So, if they're alerting, for something that's possibly not there, you might want to kind of check it out, but just kind of keep tabs on that, maybe something's going on here that I should look into or pay attention to, because they're obviously, man's best friend, and they're to help you and guide you and protect you and things like that. And I believe that they have that sense. Mine now actually have that too, because I still, of course, I'm like a beacon, so
Right.
I get a lot of visitors, just put it that way.
Well, it's kind of spooky when a cat or a dog starts looking up in the corner of the room and there's nothing there.
Yeah. Children, young children do that too.
That's very true.
Because I think we're all born with the ability to connect and be connected, I feel. But unfortunately, as we go through life, we tend to cut that off or forget.
Right. No, I agree. My mother always said I was reincarnated because I used to say things that I shouldn't know. Like I'd call objects by a real old name, things like that. And I don't remember it. I don't remember any of it, but she really believed it. So I must have did a few things, I remember she said, and quote, I could be very wrong on this, but a frying pan, I called a spider. And she said that was a real old name for a frying pan. And I don't know if that's true. I've never even looked it up. And maybe I'm mixed up. I don't know. I get mixed up easy. But, yeah, so there's weird things that can happen to us when we're children. I wish you could remember it all, but probably not. I don't want to remember all the times I skinned up my knee. What about you, Phil?
I think,
Sorry, Bob.
Oh, go ahead.
That's okay. Go ahead. Go right ahead.
Phil, did you have any experiences when you were a kid?
There was a little period of time where it started with a babysitter telling a ghost story, but I was a young kid, but where I felt like something really, bad was around, and like I had to sleep with the light on for a long time,
Right.
and I don't know if that was really anything, if it was my mind, but I don't know. It was pretty terrifying for like a year. Yeah, who knows? This is at the house I grew up in, which is a very old house, and then I found out before that it was used as a nursing home.
Ooh.
We're talking like way back. We're talking 20s or
There's some spirits there, I'm sure.
But then my brothers had told me in the same, we slept up in the attic, some stories that they had happened, down the road, later on after I'd left the house or whatever. They were kind of like, ew, but as far as a kid, that's about it. Nothing really, never ran into anything else till I was a much older adult.
Right. So, Bobby, back to you.
Yes. I wanted to mention something though too, because you guys are talking about doing the investigations, possibly going to places and things like that. One thing that I want you guys to know and be aware of, and anybody else that's trying to do things in that nature, is to always make sure that you know how to protect yourself from picking up energies from different places. Because that is possible too.
Yeah, we don't want to take it home with us, for sure.
Correct. And the main thing you want to do is always have respect, when you are going into that place, because that energy has been there longer, before you, especially if you're an outsider coming in.
Right.
So you definitely want to always have that, because the ones that go in and they start taunting and shouting and things like that, I mean, yeah, that's definitely not a good thing to do.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that you have a high chance of having some type of negative experience with that. And so that's one thing people tend to not think of. And it's very important that they understand, what it is all about. It's about, for people, it's like about finding that evidence that, yes, there is still an existence after our life. Some people want that. Some people, want to just have that thrill, the scare tactic thrill, those types of things. Different people do it for different reasons,
Right.
I personally, when I go into a place or prepare to go into a place, I will never take anybody with me that has that type of mentality of being a taunter or disrespectful, because at that point they put everybody at risk.
Right.
So that's something to really, when people are out there doing their little, gatherings and investigations, that they really make sure they know what they're doing and they can have that respect.
We're on the same page, really, because definitely what you said has already been through my head many, many times. So I agree with you 100%. No taunting. Like a what?
Who really wants to go and piss off the, the spirit world? I mean, you know what I mean?
Well, you want to do a protection prayer, different things. But so, yeah. But I'm assuming Bobby's probably going to go on some of these investigations with us if we can talk her into it. So,
you're going to have to twist your arm, Bobby?
I was doing that on my own before in the past, and it just wasn't really the right time, I think, because some of the teams people I had with me in my team were not the right fit, so I had to put it down for a while. But I definitely am available to help you guys out if you need to. So I would be happy to do that.
Awesome. That's great.
Tell her about our upcoming mission.
Which one?
The one that you've been talking about.
Oh, that one. Well, I kind of want the gentleman who's told me about this to inform our viewers. But it's a very interesting story about a male spirit that stands in the middle of the road at night, and multiple people have seen it. And it's also caused a few problems in the house it stands in front of, which no longer exists. It's just a foundation. But, so I'd kind of like him to explain that. I'm going to try to get him maybe, I don't know if we're going to do this today. I haven't talked to him today, but we're going to interview him, and he'll tell us about it. And then he's given us permission to go to this place when we want to go. So if Bobby wanted to go with us.
Did you say he was skeptical?
He's not skeptical about this at all.
Okay.
He is a skeptical person, but this he believes in because he has family members and different things, different people he knows that have seen this. It's so realistic that one relative went after it with a shotgun, thinking it was a real person. Wow. Yeah, just different.
That's pretty intense. That's a lot of energy to be able to manifest like that.
Yeah, and they'll look out the window and it's just standing there looking at the house when the house existed. And there's a story to why that house doesn't exist that incorporates this ghost. So, yeah, it's quite the interesting thing.
And it's local.
And it's very local. So, and that's what I like, Bobby, and viewers, is I like places that people don't really know about because I think there's a lot of them, that aren't advertised. You see all your main things on TV. It's like, well, we've seen that 100 times. What about all these other places, I think there's many all around us. And if you want to go back to that Rhonda whatever app, what is it? What's it called? Randonautica?
Randonautica. Did you get a chance to look at that, Bobby, at all?
I did. I started looking at that, and I didn't get to look in depth, but I thought that was pretty bizarre and great for this show. But yeah, interesting because there's a lot of possible thought theories behind it, about what it really is.
Right, and I was just trying to bring this up on the screen. Phil's not going to be able to see this, but probably you can, Bobby. I don't know. Let me see. So this is the website for it. It's interesting, to say the least. Whatever this is.
Have you tried it yet?
I have tried it in the home. I have not gone to a location. But it's interesting because it did point out something to me that it shouldn't have known. So,
Right.
But anyway, this, I'm just kind of curious if this does actually take you to these spots that have a high energy or...
Well, Mark Lang actually said yesterday when we did our little test run that he thought it was related to witchcraft, or he read that it was related to some kind of witchcraft.
And that could be. I've read a lot of things and a lot of different opinions about it, most of them not being good.
You get a feeling on this one way or the other, Bobby?
Well, honestly, I didn't get a lot of time to tap into a lot of that, but I was interested in researching it a little bit more, but I just really feel like if you're exploring that, definitely there's a red flag of caution.
Sure.
For sure, red flag immediately. So like when I brought it up and I started reading a little bit on their site there. I was like, ooh, I started getting anxiety. So I was
Right.
like, yeah, I don't know about that. So
Right.
in my own personal experience, but it does it's scary because it does kind of have like this alluring effect. Like, I wonder, it starts raising all these flags of, questions of like, oh, I wonder if it would really work if I could look for this or ask for that, But then again, I guess it's just all I can say is proceed with extreme caution.
Sure.
When you
Don't want to open a
unknown.
door that you can't shut. That's what I tell everybody
Exactly.
when they're
Right.
talking about Ouija boards and stuff. Don't want to open a door that I can't shut.
Right.
So,
I remember you talking about that from the past, and I was commenting on a different podcast you had going on, and I know that's something that's not very keen to you, Phil, but being in this energetic connection when I was young. I have a story about that. I can wait if you want me to, but
No, go ahead.
Go for it.
Okay. When I was younger, in my teens, my sister and I actually decided to make one, unbeknownst to knowing the ability that we had in doing so.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing about those is when I try to, well, I was speaking about getting rid of it, okay? And when I went to go find it, it was gone. This happened on 3 different occasions. I moved 3 different times. I went to say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. I need to find a way to make sure it's taken care of properly. Went to go look for it. It was gone. I moved and ended up finding it months later among my belongings.
Oh, wow.
Not once, not twice, but 3 different times.
Mm-hmm.
And that was pretty, creeped me out, you know. And I thought to myself, well, this is a part of my energy that I created this as well. So I'm obviously a keeper of it and a protector of it, but I'm also the binder of it. So it's bound closed because they are no joke. They are a portal. So you need to be very, very careful.
Not a positive portal either.
Correct. When messing with an Ouija board, you want to have someone that knows what they're doing. Let's put it that way. So, right. And even in my experience and all my knowledge and all, you know, what I'm connected with, even I personally cannot even rid it properly. So if they keep sneaking up on me and attached to me, you know, obviously this was part of my creation. This is part of me. I'm going to have to be that with it until I find a way that I properly cannot be.
Sure.
And it's closed for good.
I absolutely keep away from Ouija boards or anything close to it.
Yeah.
And this Randonautica could be that type of thing. We don't know. But it will be kind of interesting to follow what's going on with that because there's new things about it all the time. It's on the news. I mean, it's a big deal right now.
The world today is just a jacked up place, so
not supposedly the guy that invented this is working on trying to get a reality show. I don't know if it's involved with this app or not, but yeah, so there's more coming on that. But I don't know if you've guys, I guess it ranges anything from finding money to finding dead bodies. Now that's pretty scary. The money's not too bad, but yeah, so I don't know. Kind of spooky.
I see they also are connected to finding signs of past loved ones too.
Right. I mean, I guess it does say focus on your intent. If you have a bad intent, you're going to manifest something bad. If you have, a lot of these people are asking, they want to see, they're asking things like their intent is death, you know, and then they find a body. You know, it's like, well, first off, why would anyone want to even try to manifest that? You know? Now, there's one good thing about that. I was thinking about this the other day. It's like, oh, they're finding these bodies, and it's just horrific, right? But the good part is they're actually putting closure to a family because they're actually finding these bodies. So you have to look at the good in it in some aspect. If anything, for these people that are finding this and being, having this traumatic experience, I hope they're thinking that they actually did help in a way, you know.
So I got a question for you, Bobbi. Have you ever been contacted by any law enforcement or anything to help with anything, or?
It's odd that you bring that up. I wanted to do that. I've actually been very, very connected to a couple of missing persons cases, and being a precognitive dreamer and being an intuitive empath, I've had many confirmations of signs and visions and information that came to me energetically, and sometimes it's kind of like, what do you do with it? You know, you don't want them to think that you have some involvement, with it, because you have to find the right law enforcement that's open to this type of ability. I definitely have, how would I say? We had a person of our community that had passed, and I was contacted by a friend because they knew my connections and energy worlds and spirit worlds and things like that. So they said, "Can you see if you can get it and pick anything up?"
Is this
I went
passed
to bed that
or
night.
murdered?
Um,
We
this
don't have
is
to
just
mention
people
names, but
that was actually this person was murdered.
gotcha.
So and they asked me, "Can you pick up anything?" And so that night, I actually sometimes I just try to say what I call tune in to things, take a moment to tune in and see what I can pick up right away. But that night, I decided to call out and do my little thing for when I dream, because in my dreams, I'm very a precognitive dreamer and intuitive dreamer, and I can actually connect in the spirit world that way as well. And so I actually found the person. Um, the only thing is in the spirit world and the dream world, things work a little bit different. Things are kind of like puzzle pieces. You got to kind of like put everything together. So it's a matter of just being able to collect that information and then have that, profound information. And so when this happened, I was able to reach out to some family members that were very interested in me helping, and they were confirming some of the things that I was telling them that I was being shown, because by my dream about this person and the things that nobody knew and they weren't releasing through the media or through law enforcement, and I didn't know them. So there was no way I could have known that. That later that day, they actually had found that person. So I wasn't able to speak with law enforcement about that, but I already had the information. But at the same time, they were being found too
Wow.
shortly thereafter. So it's pretty interesting. I've been connected with a few different um, passings and unknown passings of how they passed, things like that. And I have one particular friend that's very involved with the community, and they know about me, and so they'll contact me, and then I will give them the information that I get, and then they'll get the confirmation of it, and then but I remain anonymous at the time. So
So, everyone, we're talking to Bobbi. I just want to bring that up because after a little while, people are going, "Who's talking?" And I'm Mike, and that's Phil over there.
Yeah. Well, that's very interesting. I mean, because it's something as skeptical as mediums and psychics and people of those ability. A lot of times, like the FBI works with people like that, and some law enforcement agencies. So
Right.
I'm going to say that has to give us some credence, right?
I would like to think so.
I mean, for the people that are
I mean,
skeptical,
I totally believe that it does.
yeah. Well, you live it, so I mean,
Correct.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of skeptical people out there. If they're that skeptical, do you
Mm-hmm.
think like they put, that much into it, or do you think they're just grasping for straws so they bring someone in like that?
Well, I think sometimes if they get to that, cold cold case type aspect, that some of them have, someone's put a little idea into their head. Hey, why don't you contact, an intuitive, a energy worker, a psychic, a medium, to see what they say. Test them to see if they can give you information if you don't believe, and then let them, you know, see if they can find out anything in addition where they've come up at a I don't want to say the word at a close, you know what I mean, that they can't
Yeah.
go any further.
Well, I
So,
don't think
but
that.
I
Yeah.
definitely wanted to be available for that but I didn't know how to pursue it and how it would be taken from me, contacting the right resources to be able to be available for that.
Yeah, because I'm sure like a lot of people that are just whack jobs, you know. try to.
There's some out there.
Yeah,
There's
and that's
some.
just how it
Yeah.
is, you know. So I mean, if they really put it out there, if they were looking for some information from a psychic or whatever, some people would just, you know,
Say
any
whatever.
Tom, Dick, or Harry could come up and be like, trying to get their 5 minutes of fame.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what you got to kind of be cautious of, that they don't think that you're just some random person trying to get famous. And it's like, that's not what even I like to say in the back. You know what I mean? I don't want to be up front if I don't have to be, but, I just, if I can help, or sometimes it's where I can't not help because it's so prominent coming into me, and like the messages and information is just so right there for me that it's repetitive until I give the information to the right people. And that's another thing that's very hard understanding how to deal with, in being who I am, and if you have those types of connections for anyone else, sometimes you get that information and you just don't know what to do with it,
Of
and it
course,
won't leave you until like.
they want a rational explanation on how you knew that,
Correct.
and sometimes you can't
And
rationalize things.
there is really not one to that would suffice what they're looking for in the answer.
Absolutely.
I think if they get to the end of their rope, they would try to try any means to get some answers. So the problem is, it's kind of sad they wait that long before they ask for help. That may not be mainstream help, but I think it is becoming a little more mainstream. Do you, Bobbi? I mean, really?
I think we are. That's why I feel a little bit more comfortable opening up a little bit more publicly about myself, because it was so taboo. It was so, looked down upon. And that was something that I really was a kind of hesitant of, because I didn't want someone to get a prejudgment of me, of who I am, because they're afraid of not understanding what I can connect with, or the possibilities of it. So some people, look at it in a very negative way, and by far I don't want to be a negative person or thought of that, So, I don't want to give that impression to anybody and have them be fearful of it either.
Right.
Well,
Right.
sometimes the truth ain't always pretty.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. I tell a lot of the people that I have to counsel and stuff like that. Sometimes the truth is just the truth, and there is no way to sugarcoat it. You know what I mean?
That's absolutely correct. It is what it is. That's what I always say.
Yep. We just deal with the
It
facts
is
here,
what
ma'am.
it is.
Yep.
Yeah. And it is hard, like you're saying. There are just so many skepticals out there, especially. You do find a lot of them, unfortunately, in law enforcement, because they're trained to learn the facts. They want to have the confirmation and the evidence that validates the claim of the fact. And when you can't explain it, then how much truth do they want to put into that?
Exactly.
And that's what you run into, unfortunately. But I feel like, hey, if I can help, like, let me help. Like, I mean, I think of the families, like, and as you brought up before, the closure that they need, and here I could be holding a key to that closure to help them heal from their heartache and their pain, that they're suffering through too.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, there's been some
and
high-profile cases that have been helped with, by
Excuse
people, with extra senses, I should say.
hmm Yeah, there's a few that I'm still deeply connected to that have been kind of in our area, around our area, and actually there's this one that was out of state that I was contacted about from a family friend, and I've been working on that, and I was giving her all kinds of information that, you know, she was at first, you know, unsure, but, you know, her response was like, I can't believe that you know this much about it, and you don't even know, you're in a totally different state. You know, like, it wasn't anything that I knew about, and I was shocked, you know, it still shocks me at times, you know, the information that comes through and then the confirmation I get from it. But at the same time, I'm like, feel like I have this need to help that family, you know, and especially if there's a lot of question about the loss of that person, about what happened. So those things, especially a lot of the missing persons things too, those are very difficult, very hard, very tragic, you know, being on that. I try to think from you know, I'm a mother too, you know, on that aspect, you know, what happened to your child, you know, what happened to your sibling, what happened to, you know, your best friend, you know, all those things.
Right.
How does it feel being on this end of it, you know, too?
Oh, that'd be terrible.
Yeah. So if I can help, I try to. I want to.
Awesome. Bobbi, do you believe in UFOs?
Random.
Oddly enough,
Can I?
I do.
So do I.
But
I would like
I
to.
do. I've actually had some experiences with that.
I have too. I would like to play something for everyone that may not have seen this, and it's a YouTube clip. So I would like your input on this when we're done.
Is it a visual that you're playing, or?
It is a visual.
Because I'm not watching. I'm not watching right now.
You don't have to watch. You can hopefully hear it.
Just listen. Okay.
Yeah. So let me get this set up here. Hopefully it works. Okay. I'm not positive it's gonna. This is another experiment. So I'm gonna go to this, and we are going to play this video.
Some breaking and potentially explosive news today, which is that the UFOs Commission, basically within the Pentagon, will be giving some findings and reportings to the Senate Intelligence Committee. This unit is inside the Office of Naval Intelligence. Now, Senator Marco Rubio saying that it's important for the public in order to find out more. But the real bombshell here is actually an interview in the New York Times by a man named Eric Davis. He's an astrophysicist who worked on the subcontractor and a consultant for that program since 2007. Now, Mr. Davis had this to say. He now works for Aerospace Corporation. He said he gave a classified briefing to the Defense Department agency as recently as March about retrievals from, quote, off-world vehicles not made on this Earth. So,
what?
There you go.
That is crazy.
He said he gave classified briefings on retrieval of these unexplained objects to staff members of the Senate Armed Services Committee on October 21st, 2019, and to staff members of the Senate Intelligence Committee 2 days later. So we are going to need to see the transcript of those documents, and I'm going to call for Marco Rubio in order to release all of that.
We need full transparency here.
Yeah,
the people need to know.
Absolute full transparency. But this is a bombshell accusation. And as far as I can understand, this is the first revelation about the most recent testimony given to the Senate Intelligence Committee regarding this matter ever since the story was broken open in the Times back in 2017.
Right. Well, and you recall this all came from, you had a number of military pilots who were seeing these unexplained objects
and all that.
And they're, you know, we've all seen the videos. Yeah, the way that they move was so inexplicable. They actually had to set up a system so that people could, so that pilots could report these incidents. They do say in the New York Times that some of the fragments of material that were called into question as potentially off-world, as that one defense contractor put it, had been tested and found to be man-made. So there are certainly potential, you know, potentially earthly explanations
military
for what is going on here. Yeah, I mean, that's the most likely thing if it's of man-made origin, but pretty wild development.
Huge development. I actually encourage everybody to go read Annie Jacobson's book. She was on Joe Rogan's podcast as well. She talked about this. She has a pretty wild theory about, well, not theory, she claims it's confirmed, I don't know, about the UFO sightings in the 1940s and about how it was really like a Russian military program.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Surgeries and all this other stuff. So again, I don't know. Like, who knows what the truth is here and what exactly is going on, but that nobody was giving this nearly enough attention. Off-world vehicles not made on this earth. And he testified that, I don't know if he was under oath or not, but it was a classified briefing to the Senate Armed Services Committee, to the Senate Intelligence Committee. And the one good thing about our government is that they write everything down. And I want to know exactly what he said.
Yeah.
Exactly what he said.
Well, you know, and Senator Reid, who was one of former Senator Harry Reid, of course, has been one of the sort of primary movers and shakers on bringing some of this stuff to light. And he very much is of the belief that there have been off-world vehicles here.
He actually gave this quote again to the Times here. After looking into this, I came to the conclusion that there were reports, some substantive, some not so substantive. There were actual materials that the government and private sector had in their possession. This is in reference to the crashes of objects of unknown origin, which may have occurred, and materials which have been studied, some of which could be off-world. So there we go, folks.
We will definitely keep you updated on this one, and we'll have more Rising for you after this.
So that's kind of interesting, don't you think?
Very interesting. Honestly, like, I believe that we've been encountering other beings for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I think it's just to the point where there's just so many documentations of it or people coming forward about it that it's so hard to not explore that idea and not validate some of these claims.
So the reason I played that all of a sudden was when you were talking about being accepted for what you do by the police departments. It's just to show you that all these things are coming forward now. Now they're admitting things. So that's why I think this is becoming more of a mainstream thing that you do. Everything's coming forward. All these little rumors, all these, fantasy is turning out to be true. Right.
Well, to release a headline like that and not get attention because everything else is going on in the world, COVID, the riots and protests are taking the headlines. So if this was a normal news day, I don't know how this wouldn't make it. So it was a perfect time to just blurt that out there.
Yeah. So I think, you're definitely going to be accepted for what you do. There's going to still be a lot of people out there that don't believe it, but it's starting to get pushed in their face that it just might be real. So,
You're right.
Well, go ahead.
I am getting a little bit more, context of just other people that actually, maybe I've had friends, and the next thing you know, I have somebody outside contacting me saying, hey, I heard I can contact you for this, this, and this, so
Right.
People are starting to do that, a little bit more so, and I'm trying to be receptive to that too, so I always want to be cautious, but,
Sure.
Receptive as well. But if I feel like I'm led to help someone in that nature, then I will. If I feel like it's red flags, bad vibes, I might just, maybe give some words of advice or guidance or whatnot, and then see if they can handle it on their own. But, there's been times that people are in real dire need and just feel like they have no other means to make sense of what they are experiencing or going through, or the distraught of what they have of a lost, loved one or things like that, then, I will do my best that I can.
Excellent. That's great to hear. And, it's a service that people should consider, especially if they're not getting answers or they need answers.
For sure.
I agree.
Yeah.
For sure.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. Appreciate that.
There's a lot of skeptical people out there,
Right. You're always going to have Well, I don't need to wear a mask. It's you're always going to have these people.
My grandmother, she was starting to see people in her house and stuff, and my grandpa had been gone for some time, and she was really interested in going and getting a reading done, and there was a really good one in Toledo that had helped my friend out who lost a daughter, and she was really wanting to go, and then my two aunts convinced her not to go. They said it was the devil's work, and
Right.
so I think it's a missed opportunity, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like when people think that, I think what takes me back to not believing in that mindset, the devil's work, is the fact that, if they are reading out the scriptures of the Bible, things like that, and I tell them to think of the book of Daniel, because this is when I became more aware and acceptive of who I am, all of who I am. Daniel was a dreamer. Like, he was precognitive, and he was called upon by others to interpret what they dreamt. And he was sought out also by God to be accepted, and loved no matter what, and protected. And those are the things I think about. I'm like, what about, they're reading in all the prophets, what were they considered then, in that sense. So I'm like, if that's accepted, then why can't a message coming through someone else in a connected way be accepted too in that sort of way?
Right.
I agree.
I'm not saying I'm a prophet, but but just say, there's many throughout the Bible that had abilities like that.
Yep. You may not be a prophet in today's times, but maybe back then you would have been.
Who knows?
Right? Who knows? I don't know.
But I mean, those are some things that I thought about, when people try to look down upon those things and think in that way, because I know where my true heart is, and I know that I am connected to my Creator, to my God, and I know that I have love in my heart, and I do everything out of a loving intention, so I don't have any type of, greedy, manipulative agenda, so
Sure.
It's nothing about that at all. I don't wish harm upon anybody. If
Right.
anything, I want healing for everyone,
Absolutely. What a great attitude. And that's the way it should be.
Yep.
Need more of that, definitely. We definitely need more of that.
Yeah, definitely. Do you find yourself getting drained when you have, let's say,
Oh, wow.
you do, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it does drain you a lot.
Yeah.
And that's something that, sometimes even just people that you're around all the time, like even family members or loved ones, friends, certain people can just drain your energy. And those are called energy vampires, they refer to them as. But sometimes they don't even know that they're doing it.
Right.
They don't even know that that's happening, that they're the cause of that. But sometimes you just got to get out of there, and let me tell you, going to a crowded place like the grocery store, even that is sometimes overbearing because of all of the energies and different types of energies that are in there. It's just, sometimes I feel like I'm just, spinning around in circles, and I'm on a tilt-a-whirl. I need to get out of there because there's just so much.
I bet you can relate with what I'm about to say. I cannot drive in a car on a highway because I pass too many people, and it really wears me down. And I cannot. I want to sleep. I mean, it wears me down so badly. It's like,
yeah. In long trips, I prefer someone else to drive.
Yeah. It's rough, and
it is.
It's and people. A lot of people don't understand that, but I mean, we're all energy. We're all, we pick up on other people's energies. We can tell a lot of times when someone's good and when someone's bad.
And we just got a comment on the stream from Ron Stewart. He said, I know when my great uncle, before he started, passed away, he told that he seen my grandpa outside working on a car, and I told him there was no one out there. Then he said he's seen my grandpa sitting next to him.
That's common. That's very common for when you're about ready to pass, you see loved ones I've had experiences in the past with that. And yeah, I think that's when the veil's lifted, right? That might bring you back to that period we were talking about earlier. When you're young, you remember things, you see things. I think you kind of get that back towards the end. Yeah. I mean, that's how I feel about it.
I feel like, because you're connecting from the source where you came from, so it opens up to take, you know what I mean? That's what I believe for your passage back out of this life, and have your energy or your spirit continue on into the next.
Yeah, it gives you comfort. Yeah.
Oh, they say the Lord will comfort you in your time of,
Yeah.
So I believe, why wouldn't he send a comforting spirit to help you? It happened to my grandfather a couple weeks before he passed away, and my grandmother was in the kitchen. He was in his hospital bed in the living room. She smelled pipe smoke, and she went into the living room, and he said that she said, "You smell that?" And they didn't smoke, and he said, "Yeah, my dad was just here, and he was a pipe smoker."
Right.
So,
yeah. Well, I believe that 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. We have the ability to, and people didn't realize this, and I've told a few people this, and they've tried it, and now they do it often, in a way to maybe give them a little peace of mind. But a way that you can ask to connect with loved ones is through your dreams, like when you go to sleep, because a lot of people do have visitors that's passed on.
I've had that
come
happen
to them in their dreams, and you hear about that a lot more often.
Right. No, it's true. I think, yeah, it's happened to me, and I know it's happened to other people I've talked to. And when it's
kind of weird.
It's real.
When I have dreams like that with departed loved ones, they can never talk. It's one thing I always notice about them. They can never speak.
They've talked to me, but not a lot. But you feel that emotion. You actually feel the physicalness to it. That's what really sets it apart.
Yeah, I had
detail.
A friend that committed suicide, and I seen him in a couple dreams shortly thereafter, and he could never talk. He would just shake his head no, and he looked really sad when he appeared. So I don't know what that means, but
Bobby knows, I bet.
Oh, there's that spot again.
Maybe we could talk about that on
another one.
Yeah. But I'm tuning into all the energies you bring forward. So.
Right.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, I definitely think we need to. Me and Mike can venture out to your neck of the woods, and
we still need to go to the bridge.
Yeah, the haunted trestle or whatever. But we should definitely.
Out there before.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Because that's going to be on one of our episodes coming up. So
yeah, I'd like to do that soon.
If we can make some time here in the next couple weeks, maybe we could, meet up for dinner some evening and just discuss it.
Right.
That way you're not bombarded by all these other influences.
Sure. Yeah. I'm like I said, anywhere that I feel that I can help out. I'm more than happy to. I'd be honored to help assist in any way. So that's what I'm here for. That's my purpose is to help.
We'll be honored.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested in kind of seeing how everything is going to unfold. I was just making a mention that it was really odd because you guys kept coming up in my notifications, but there was you guys weren't even on air. I'm like, I wonder why. I wonder if they're ever going to come back.
Right.
So it was like a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, I should get a hold of them, see how they're doing, and then here this, last night or this morning, I see that you guys were on last night, and I'm like, oh, what do you know? So I'm interested in seeing, where you guys go with this. I think this is really interesting, and you have a lot of different views and I think it's really going to be a good positive thing for you guys to do for yourselves and for the listeners. So I'm
Well,
excited for you guys.
you've been picking up on us because I've actually, and I know Phil has too, but I've been kind of doing the tech stuff for a while, and I've been working on this for at least 8 months, trying to get new equipment and get ready for this. And it was at the point where we're not quite ready. I mean, not, when it comes to we want to have a studio and this kind of thing, but we do have what we need to do now. And if it wasn't for Phil last night kind of forcing me to get on the air, it probably wouldn't have happened quite yet. But you have to take that plunge because it's never completely ready, you know?
It's never the
Right.
perfect time.
Yeah. And, you know, so we're kind of going into it blind at this point, but now we've started. Now we won't stop. Right, Phil? We're not going to
Can't.
stop.
I mean, it was we had to stop the last time because of tragic circumstances, but
Right.
you know,
So that's very true. If it wasn't for that, we'd still have been going. But it's my goal, you know, to just keep going and going. This is something I love to do. I may not be great at it, but I enjoy doing it. And when we get knowledgeable people like yourself on here, it kind of runs its own show, you know. But we have the technology now, so we can make it work. I just can't stand this background noise every time I talk. But you're hearing the bird.
I can't hear it.
Good. you're hearing the bird. You're hearing water flowing. You're hearing the fan. But that's all right. You know, we'll get it fixed.
I mean, I didn't hear it before, so I mean, it's not distracting to me as a caller or when I was actually watching to the podcast. So I mean, I can't hear that, but
See, I'm a
everybody
perfectionist,
else
and I
can.
got to be careful with
I-
that. I
I was
really.
gonna say something about that when you were saying it wasn't really ready. I was gonna say we gotta let go of how perfection.
I know, and it's bad, but you know, I just want it to be the best experience people can have, and you know,
For sure.
if I'm seeing things that are bothering me, I'm assuming it's bothering other people, even though it's probably
For
not.
sure. For
You know,
sure.
but
I can relate to that.
anyway. Well, Bobby.
So hold on,
Oh wait,
Bobby, did your boyfriend comment on here?
Did he?
Is that Steven?
I think that was you, Bobby.
I was on that. Oh my goodness, because I'm on my phone, so I was using his phone. So
Well, we just got a comment from him, Steven Dotson, right now on the feed.
okay,
So, it says my brother
it
was
wasn't me.
okay. It must have been him. So it says my brother was shot not that long ago. On the way to the hospital, I saw him sitting in the back of my car while going to the hospital to see him. He said that he died 4 times. He is fine now and out of the hospital.
Wow.
Yep, that is true.
Wow.
Interesting. I do have a good friend of mine that had a near-death experience as well, and watched the paramedics work on him. And I have a couple friends that had that happen. So maybe
Yeah,
that
I
should be a great
actually-
subject for one of our future shows.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I've actually had 3 near-death experiences myself.
Wow.
Actually, so
Really?
yeah, that's pretty. Yes.
Did you actually die,
Very-
or did you?
No, no, I did not die. They were some very tragic things that I feel like I was on that brink where I could have slipped into death.
Sure.
So, one, do you want me to share one small one with you?
Absolutely.
I was young. I was maybe like 4 or 5, and my mother took me and my sister with her to a company picnic at her boss's house, and they had one of those huge, big kayak pools with
Okay.
their own deck around them.
Right.
And I
Pontoon.
could not swim at the time. Yep, I could not swim at the time, and so we were in the shallow end, and I had the little arm floaty
Mhm.
devices on, and the ladder to come down off of there. was actually on the deep end side.
You.
And my mom came up to the ladder and she hollered up, "Hey girls, come on, it's time to get going." Well, my sister gets out, jumps up onto the deck and starts taking off, and she's running, and I get out of the pool and I had taken my arm floaties off. I'm like, "Wait for me," and I'm running, and just as I went to turn to come down to the opening of the ladders going out, I flew into the middle and flipped off that deck into the middle of the deep end.
You.
And I remember I just sunk down. And it was so weird that when I was under the water, it was beautiful. It sounds really weird, but I felt very safe. I felt very, like, it was so surreal. It was slow motion. I could see all the bubbles. I could see like this light coming down. Like, it was just really weird. And I was immersed for a while, from what I understood, because my mother was telling me that she was on the outside screaming for people to come help, and people were running up trying to take their shoes off and, like, get their watches off and, like, go to jump in. At that point, I had came up to the surface and I swam to the side. Now, when I was under there, I was under long enough where I should have ingested water, and I didn't. I didn't take on any water. They were shocked that this happened, so I guess it was just really weird. But when I was under there, it felt safe. It was so odd how that was. And I just remember that light being so bright and coming and shining in and coming down into the water onto me. And it just felt so magical in a way, so I feel like that could have went either way.
Wow.
Right.
I could have been, like, possibly being saved, which obviously I was, but, by something else, or I could have been, maybe that was the light to take me home. I don't know. But I came out with nothing, no problems, no whatsoever, and swam to the edge, and they were shocked because I don't remember swimming. I don't remember anything else about that.
So this brings something to mind to me that I heard years ago, don't know where, that in your lifetime you have 3 escapes, meaning 3 times you can die and go to the afterlife, but it's your choice. Meaning, if you're in a car accident or you're in a pool, and how do I want to say it? Let's say your life is pre-designed before you're born. You have 3 escapes to leave, and it's that period in some aspect that you have a choice to go either way. Have you ever heard of that? But it's only 3 times.
I haven't heard that, actually, but I'm interested. Keep going.
Well, I mean, there might be something to look into, because I heard this a long time ago. Like, I had a motorcycle accident where I could have died. I didn't die, but I always wondered if that was one of my escapes, one of my places where I could have made that choice. And I don't know how you make the choice. I don't know if it's something that's done before you're born or what. And when you said that and that you were in comfort, I remember a time I was choking, and I was not in a panic. I was almost at peace, even though I couldn't breathe. But other times I've maybe come close to choking on something, I freaked out. So it's kind of like, why did that one time, and I've always remembered that, why at that one time was I relaxed and it didn't bother me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just kind of, that might be something to research sometime, just to see if there's like 3 escape routes, 3 times that you have that choice in some way, or you stay or you leave. And when you said you were relaxed, and I was remembering when I was choking that one time and I was relaxed. Like, now, if that happened to you right now, you might panic. You might just, it'd be a totally different experience. So I'm just wondering if that has something to do with it. If anyone else has ever heard of that, I would love to hear from them, because it just made me think of that.
Interesting.
Well, there's a reason why I told the story then.
Maybe. Right. And I can't tell you where I heard that from. It was so long ago. I don't know. You ever heard anything like that, Phil? You ever had an experience where you were at calm when you really shouldn't have been?
I'm always calm, bro.
Oh, yeah. Don't fall asleep now. I know it's...
No, I mean, no, I've never had anything like that.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
Right.
You know,
I don't know. It's just strange, but...
I was curious to ask Phil a question.
Sure.
Oh, man.
Phil's an open book.
So, no, it's about maybe to help others, I guess. Being in the career that you're in and being around a lot of energies of possibly not so good at times, do you ever feel like you can pick up on those types of vibes from people? And if so, how do you deal with that?
That happened recently, didn't it, Phil? Didn't
you?
you go into a certain part of the...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you want to talk about it, but...
we could
I
dedicate...
think you told me about this.
We could dedicate a whole show to that. But when we meet, I'm definitely going to show you some videos that I cannot really release. But you mean when I meet a person and I can kind of feel like a negative energy? Yeah, I mean, I've met some serial killers in my profession. And, you can see the light switch go on and off sometimes. But there's an energy that I can feel for sure. The incident that Mike is talking about is back in the 80s, there was 2 murders in the Department of Corrections on staff. And I was always curious about that, about where it happened and whatnot. And they have training in the building where, it was connected anyway. So I got someone to take me to the spot where the murder happened. One of the murders happened, and I wasn't quite there yet, and I didn't know where I was going. I'd never been there before. And right as we turned a corner, all of a sudden it felt like 1,000 needles were just poking me at the same time. All up and down my back, every single spot of my body. And I just felt this heavy, feeling. I've lived in a couple of houses that were haunted that I felt similar things, but I've never felt anything so heavy and dreadful. And like I say, I didn't know where I was at. And as we walked around the corner, the lady told me, well, it's right over here is where that happened at.
Interesting. I think when we spoke, you told me about that. You shared that with me. So that's very interesting that you had that experience, for sure.
I went back the next day because I wanted to see if it was like a one-time thing, if it was just myself. And I said the only difference was I said a prayer before I went in this next time. I still had the feeling, but it wasn't as heavy as it was the day before. And I can't really describe. There was the feelings that, the heaviness on me. There was like some anger. There was desperation. There was sorrow, sadness. I mean, all of it. Like someone was lost. So.
And that's the type of things that when people do go investigating and doing the paranormal research and things like that in these cases, those are some things to be aware of, that they can pick up those things and have physical, symptoms of those things manifesting in them too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know that I've never felt anything like that before, and I really don't really want to feel that again, to tell you the truth. To be totally honest, to be in a place where that sets all your senses off at once.
That could happen.
Yeah.
Some of the places we might go to, it could happen.
And I understand that.
Bobby, I
We
gotta.
have a little bit of.
Oh,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, well, we got some things that we can do for you, Phil. Or I got some things I can help you out with to help you prevent that from happening.
Well, I don't really mind it because I don't mind it because it keeps me aware. You know what I mean? And I don't want to really dull my senses, because I definitely know it puts me in a spot where there's some vulnerability there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I would, I don't know which way you mean by help, but it's something I don't want to lose because,
It wouldn't cut you off totally, but just to know how to rid it from you so it doesn't linger. Those type of things.
Yeah, I don't know if it was just the energy that was left in the air there, or not. I'd hate to feel that the person who that happened to was stuck there or anything like that.
Well, it's probably an imprint of some type, huh? Maybe.
It could be some residual energy. There's residual hauntings they refer to, or there could be, intellectual active haunting. So it just all depends, or what people classify as hauntings or consider. But it just all depends. But if you ever walk into a room and maybe somebody had just had an argument and they're not speaking, or only one person's in the room and you can feel that energy left behind, like you walk in, you feel like, oh, something's not right.
Mm-hmm.
So everything leaves that type of an imprint if you have that capability of pushing out that much energy in your emotions. So for sure that's possible.
Bobby, do you have Skype? Do you do Skype or anything like that?
I don't have Skype. I've had it in the past, but never utilized it too much. But I have a messenger. I know that part.
I'm just trying to figure out how we do interviews or we're talking with people if they wanted to be on video. If there's, I know we can do that, but I'm just curious how many people have this stuff. I've got it all, but it doesn't mean everyone else does, right? So
right. I know a lot of people are using the Zoom app. A lot of people refer to that because you can have multiple people on.
Right. So I have this. I have it. I have this software that you can use to do voice, like we're doing right now. Instead of using a phone, you do it over the internet. And the thing is, it's as clear as the person being in the room with you. So it's like if people weren't watching video, they'd think you were in the exact same room. It's that clean. So I'm trying to look at different aspects for this these streams when we do it, what we need to do and not do. This is working great, the phone thing.
Yeah, sounds great.
But I can imagine you sitting there on the phone. It's like that's got to be getting a little taxing on the ear, and because we've been talking a while. So,
well, like I said, we'll have to get you over here live and in person.
Right.
And, we'll have to meet at Fiesta Rancheros sometime and, discuss this over some guacamole.
Nice.
There you go. Some salsa and chips, free salsa and chips on Tuesdays.
There we go.
Nice. As long as we don't get locked out. Shut this stuff down again.
Hopefully not.
Right.
Well, hard to believe we've already been on here almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we probably should kind of cut it off. People are probably going, gosh, it's kind of fun listening, but I don't have all day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I appreciate you having me call in today, and it's been very interesting. And I'm excited to go forward and meet up with you guys and see where else I can help out, and very interested in seeing, the positivity that this can bring. So I'm very glad that you allowed me to have the honor today. So thank you very much.
Absolutely.
It's our honor, and we feel very privileged to have you here with us.
Well, thank you.
So
Appreciate that.
Well, this is the tough part. It's always so hard to say goodbye.
It's not goodbye. See you later.
Well, I will talk to you. I'll go ahead and hang up, and I'll finish off watching you guys on the live there. And you guys have a very blessed day. And remember to always love yourself and love all others.
Well, thank you.
I will be in touch with you guys for sure.
All right, Bobby.
Have a great day.
It has been a privilege, and we hope to talk real soon. Okay.
Great.
All
Thank
right.
you guys.
Thank
Take care.
you.
Yep. Bye.
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 So that was awesome.
That's pretty good for a first show coming back,
Yeah, definitely was.
Flying by the seat of our pants.
Pretty much. Well, she kind of saved the show for us, right? I mean, seriously, she had a lot of knowledge.
It's good to have people that are interesting and experienced, and and provide the content we're looking for.
Yeah,
So it's a gift, buddy.
definitely is. Definitely is. Well, Phil, I guess we'll probably go off the air and talk about what we're doing next, huh?
Yes. Yep. And we'll be checking out our website. Our Facebook page, Bizare Encounters. There's two of them. One's a group page and one is a personal page. So check them both out.
I don't know. Do we need to broadcast on the group, or do we need to do it on the other page?
I share everything that you put on
Okay.
the regular page to the group page. So
Anything you can do that I don't have to do is a plus.
I can work on that. No problem.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to mute the microphones. We're going to go to the last screen, and we'll play a song at the end. What do you say? And when the song's done, we're gone.
Sounds good. And like I said, email us. Let us know what you want to hear about. If there's anything bizarre in the area, and we'll be happy to come check it out and talk about it.
Absolutely. And if anyone's interested in calling next time, please do, or contact us ahead of time. And want to schedule a nice little interview like we did with Bobby, we can do that. Okay? Thank you all.
Keep it bizarre.
Yeah. Talk to you real soon.